That's crazy. Everybody get all silent now. That's crazy. What's up? What y'all got for me today?
Congratulations, Bobby, being nominated for the Walter Payton Award.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a huge honor. I was fortunate enough to watch a lot of guys before me do a lot of inspiring things, do a lot of things off the field in their communities, in this community. And so to be recognized with one of those guys is pretty cool.
I know so much of what you do, you don't do it for this reason, to be nominated for an award like this. You like to do it somewhat anonymously, but personally, what do you get out of it that you feel like is, gives you the most, when you get to do stuff like this and interact with different people and give back in different ways?
I think that's the thing. I think it's being able to interact with people, being able to kind of show young kids or show anybody that we reachable. You know what I mean? I think when you growing up, when we was growing up, it was like, okay, how do you get in contact with Jordan or MJ or Kobe or all those dudes? They just seemed like they were kind of far away. So I just think it's cool to be able to inspire people to give back, not only with your money but your time, and seeing the smiles on their faces when we do certain things has been amazing. So I think that's pretty much what I get out of it, is the smiles, the joy that it brings for the people, and the joy it brings for myself.
Is there anything you've done that you're maybe the most proud of?
I don't know. Like I'm pretty much proud of a lot of things. I think I would say this would be something that kind of means something to me because I feel like if my mom was here, that's what she would be most proud of. She'd be proud of the on-field stuff, but the lives that you're affecting off the field would be something that I feel like she would appreciate a lot more, especially my pops too.
Bobby, when you look back to the Rams in general, they have 4 straight games against you where they put up 450 yards of offense. Is there something about what they do against you that is tough for you guys to handle, to adjust to, or anything? Like, what do you think has been the kind of common thread throughout the game?
I think it's just been us having to execute. I think they find, they do a really good job of finding a weak spot in the defense, and we have to do a better job of kind of eliminating that. And whether it's the pass rush, whether it's the linebackers, corners, safeties, whatever, we just got to do better. I feel like it was definitely a learning experience. We need to do better, but the position we're in is a good one, and so we don't want that loss to overshadow that. And the only way it doesn't is if we learn from it.
Can you quantify the amount of impact that Christian McCaffrey has on the Panthers' offense?
I mean, you could just tell by the film. They're trying to get them the ball in the run game. They're trying to get them the ball in the pass game. I don't know what the stat is, but I think he has 80-something catches or something crazy like that from a running back. That's like receiver numbers, you know what I mean? So it just shows the versatility that they have, or that he has, and what they want to do with him. And so you definitely got to be, on your game. I think last time we played him, he had a pretty good game, and so we got to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Nobody has more tackles in the league than you and Luke Kuechly going back to 2012. What have you learned about Kuechly and playing against him and getting to know him over the years?
He's just a really, really hard worker. Very, very intellectual linebacker. Makes a lot of plays. Very, talented. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch him play on film. I met him in Florida. We were training at IMG before we came into the draft, so I got to know him a little bit there. And we've kind of kept in touch a little bit, but he's an amazing player. Definitely, a linebacker that people can look to and be inspired by.
This team's been really good about bouncing back from losses during the time you've been here, and Russell and all that. What's sort of the key to that?
I just think it's our mindset. The way that we kind of go about it is just, you try to live in the moment. You let whatever happen, the good and the bad. You don't want to have a great game and just let that linger into the weekend, and you're thinking about last game and miss the game that's in front of you. So it's the same thing with a loss. when you have a loss that didn't go your way, or it was a close game, or you got blown out, you kind of just let it go. And you take what you need to take from it, you learn what you need to learn from it, and then you move on. And that's our mindset, and that's what we try to, have everybody think. And I feel like that's probably why, we're so successful after a loss, is because we're able to move on from it and not let it linger into the next game.
Your own reference, there's been some teams in your guys' past, really good teams, that have had a game late in the year get away from you. Not that it's good to lose, but can there be good that comes out of that experience late in the season?
It depends on the season. It depends on how the season's going, but there's always something positive that can be learned from this. That you could have a team that's 14-0 and or 15-0 or whatever, and not know what a loss feels like into the playoffs. You don't want that to be the time where you learn how to lose, or learn what that loss feels like. And so, I think we've had so many games this year where we've let a lead slide, where we had to battle back. We've had so many different ways that we had to win, and I feel like that has taught us how to close games, and even the games that we've let slip away, it's taught us, if we're not on our stuff, it's not going to be good. So all of it is learning, and it only means something if you're able to apply it, and I feel like we were able to apply it.
Bobby, the first couple of drives against the Rams, you guys had some trouble with some of the play calls. What goes into that? What was happening?
It's just their tempo, them getting up to the line pretty fast, and us being able to kind of get lined up and be ready. But a lot of it is just getting the play call in, everybody getting lined up and kind of being ready. Because I think the reason why they do tempo is to kind of get you on your heels. And so, they're trying to catch you not ready. And so we need to do a better job of that. I would say it starts with me, making sure I get the call in fast and making sure make sure everybody's ready to go.
What's been your view of the way Shaquem has started to carve out a pass rush role the last few weeks?
It's been amazing, man. I think my first glimpse of him was when he was in college, and he was doing a lot of pass rushing. So when he got to the league and you saw him pass rush for the first time, you knew that he had an ability to do that. And so we had him off the ball for a while, but the moment he got back to being on the ball, you see the potential that he has. He's so quick, and he's able to get around people, and he's able to use his speed to get to the quarterback. And I think he's just getting into his rhythm, and it's going to be fun to see when he does.
Has he been splitting time between your room and the D-line room? How does that work when he's doing sort of playing both positions?
Yeah, he's been in both rooms. He's linebacker first, so we're not going to let him leave. And he's still got to do linebacker duties.
Do you have to catch him up on things that he misses, or how does that work?
No, because pretty much the first few days is first and second down, and rush day is like Thursday or Friday. So when it's rush day, he'll go with the D-line. When it's the off the ball stuff, he's with us. So that's kind of how they split it.
Random, but Russ talks about his father a lot, just did moments ago, and then you also talk about your mother a lot. Coming out in 2012, and do you guys connect on that at all? Just what shared experience, shared grief, shared kind of trials and tribulations of what goes through those kind of moments in life that maybe not everyone can relate to if they haven't been through it themselves?
As far as losing a parent?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, everybody's different. Not everybody wants to talk about or bring back up those feelings that you had. So the conversation wasn't one that you just kind of go and approach. It just happens. We've talked about, how you feel to lose a parent. It's always tough to lose a parent, especially at, no matter what age it is, it's always tough to lose a parent. And so, you can have an understanding for a person, when they're mourning or where they're, have those days where it's Mother's Day or Father's Day and everybody's posting these beautiful pictures with their mothers and fathers, and you don't have that. And so you can understand from that perspective, where people are coming from. But you also are grateful as well because, I still have my father. And so I'm grateful that he's here. I'm grateful for the time that I get to be with him. And I think that's kind of what you learn from it is, when you have a person taken away from you unexpectedly, it makes you appreciate the people that you have while they're here because you never really know when they're going to be taken from you. So that's kind of what I've learned from it is, anybody that crosses in my life, anybody that's in my life, I try to be very grateful for the time that we have. Even my life, I try to be grateful because you never know when it's going to be done, and you want to make sure you give everything you can while you're here.
When you watch football for casually, is there one player that you really enjoy watching during either game that's not against TV?
When I watch football, when I watch football, I watch linebackers. So I always just look at the linebackers every single game. It's how are they calling the play? How are they, chasing the ball down? Do I like their game? Do I not like their game? That's kind of really all I care about. And obviously you see the, like the Lamar Jacksons and those guys that do amazing things, but I have an appreciation for the defense.
Is there one linebacker that you really admire watching?
Darius Lillard's one, Luke Kuechly's one, Levante David. I know I'm going to forget somebody. I like watching the young guys, Devin Bush, Devin White. Like watching those guys, KJ Wright, of course, but that's kind of me being biased, but I have to be for a second. There's, like I said, there's so many linebackers out there that I enjoy watching, but those are the first people that come to mind. Luke Kuechly is one that I enjoy watching.
I'm not sure if you said it, but was there a point that you either got to choose or pick to play linebacker? I don't know if you've told us that.
What?
For you to play linebacker as the position, did you have an option to play running back? Because it's obvious that you're a student of the linebacking position.
Yeah.
So was there somewhere, was it high school, was it college, that it was like, Bobby, you're going to be a linebacker?
No. I made the decision for myself. Yes. I played tight end and linebacker in high school, and I really wanted to play offense. And we was kind of like midway through the season. I had like a couple touchdowns, but I didn't feel like I was getting the ball enough. And then I said to myself, why am I keep dealing with this? Like, why am I going to play a position where, like, my game is solely based on if someone else gets me the ball? And so I said, I'm just going to go play defense where I can control how much I'm around the ball by just going to get the ball. So it was high school. I wasn't getting the ball enough as a tight end. And so I said, I'm going to get the ball as a linebacker. And made the decision and never looked back. But by the way, I had like 11 touchdowns and like 700 yards, by the way.
Why not just try to play quarterback?
Huh?
Play quarterback.
I feel like playing quarterback. It wasn't really like my thing. I didn't care about throwing the ball. Nobody likes to get hit from the backside like that. And so, all it takes is one hit from in your back of your neck, and you go to play defense.
Are those real numbers?
Huh? That's real numbers. 11 touchdowns. I think it was like 685 yards senior year. It made me, in Utah State, it let me run a couple routes because of that. So I'm grateful.
Regarding college players skipping bowl games, did that ever cross your mind? And what do you think of the trend about players doing that?
Skipping bowl games? It didn't cross my mind when I was there, but it's a different age. When I was in college, I was playing at such a small school that I felt like I had to take advantage of every opportunity that I had. With these guys now, especially with social media, especially with all these different things, you watch and you see a guy get hurt and his opportunity to play in the league dwindles significantly. And so I'm all for a guy not playing if he doesn't want to play and focusing on what he's been trying to get to, because at the end of the day, they're not getting paid anyway. The school is the one benefiting from them playing the game anyway. So I'm not opposed to it, because at the end of the day, you're doing what's best for you. And I think that's what you learn as you become a young man, is sometimes you have to do what's best for you and your family, because the people that you think is going to do right by you might not do right by you. So colleges, the NCAA, they might not make the right decision for you. So you have to make the right decision for yourself. It's part of life.
In the release that this team put out, it said that you're going to donate to the HBCU Foundation.
I am.
With the money from the Walter Payton Award nomination. Do you still plan on wearing the HBCU hoodies you've been wearing every road game?
Yeah, I think I got Jackson State this weekend.
Alma mater, actually.
I did not plan.
You didn't know that?
No, I did not. So,
anyway,
I'm sorry, your question?
what does it mean to be nominated for an award named after someone like Walter, who's actually, like I just mentioned, HBCU alum?
It means a lot because you hear all the amazing things that he was as a player, but more as a person. And so to be put in that class is definitely something that is, I'm honored by. The group that I'm with, I'm honored by. I see Sherm is on there again. He's one of the inspirations to do more off the field. And so, I'm honored by it. I chose the HBCU Foundation because, I feel like they don't always get the support that they deserve and the support that they need. And so I felt like I had an opportunity to be a person that supports them. A lot of it is just about, trying to be seen. So, hopefully I can reach out to all the schools out there and they help me win this. And the money is going to you guys.
Anything else? Thanks, Bobby.
Appreciate it.